The Fifth Buddhist Council, convened in Mandalay, Burma, was held over a span of 3 years from 1868 to 1871, due to the tremendous task of editing the entire Tipitaka, or the Pali Canon. Contributing significantly to text purification, the Fifth Buddhist Synod aimed to fulfill another lofty goal, to endure. The edifice built resultantly of the Fifth Council still stands on Mandalay Hill in Burma today, ready to serve its original purpose as a template for more pure copies of the Tipitaka, and continues to persevere in hopes of enduring until the end of the world. The overall structure is renowned as the largest book in the world, because it houses 730 pages or marble slabs with the entire Tipitaka engraved. The process of inscribing the marble slabs spanned an even longer duration of time, 7 years, 6 months, and 14 days. King Mindon, the convener of the council, did not begin the conference with the intention to engrave the Tipitaka in marble, but ordered the engraving as a copy was being finished in gold stylus written on palm leaves. In the end, the Vinaya Pitaka comprised 111 slabs, the Abhidhamma 208 slabs, and the Sutra Pitaka 410 slabs. Coinciding with the Fifth Buddhist Synod, the tenure of King Mindon over the Myanmar dynasty is commonly regarded with progress and prosperity. Contrary to popular trends, the Myanmar dynasty did not unravel and fall apart like the majority of dynasties interlaced with the Buddhist religion. Mindon's people possessed great respect for their king, and his popularity was widespread. His particular rule was unique in that Mindon ruled the north of Burma and the British ruled the south. This agreement was reached after the Second Anglo-Burmese War broke out, and Mindon, finding bloodshed and violence undesirable, maintained peace in his country by agreeing to share it. His dedication to peace was evident upon review of his reign. No war occurred during the 25 years of his rule. During the 14th year of Mindon's reign, a rebellion threatened his life. His son, Prince Maignan, and his nephew, Prince Badain, had organized a surprise attack against the king. The rebel assigned to perform the assassination, Paik Keye, came face to face with the king before he was about to take the king's life, at which point the king recognized him and addressed him by name. "Aren't you Naga Paik?" the king asked. The assassin immediately felt ashamed and answered, "Yes, your majesty, I am at your service." Paik then carried the king on his back to safety. Even more remarkably, when the rebellion had subsided, Mindon did not subjugate members of his dynasty who had rebelled. Instead, he sympathized, stating that when the rebels had confronted them, they had probably unintentionally joined. Mindon's declaration was to let them live in peace with nothing whatsoever to fear. Following the rebellion, his subjects continued to be devoted followers. Amar, author of the world's largest book, believes this event is an illustration of his infinite faith in his own people, and that if he were suppressive at this juncture he would be indirectly helping the imperialists to overrun his country. After the Second Anglo-Burmese War, Mindon sought to rehabilitate and to modernize his country. Generally unsatisfied with the efforts to support religion, he took a sincere interest in promoting the spiritual welfare of his people and Buddhism overall. Mindon's more prominent wishes were to protect and uphold the Sasana, or the span of 5,000 years after the Buddha's death. It is predicted that at the end of the Sasana there will be no one left who believes in the Buddhist teachings. It had become obvious to Mindon that the Tipitaka had become corrupt due to repeated mistakes in the process of copying the text by hand and the passing down from generation to generation. Mindon wished to convene a Samga council where the Tipitaka would be edited and an entirely pure copy would be procured. The Mataras agreed, having similarly observed that the scriptures were no longer entirely pure. It was also customary for kings to have their own copy of the Tipitaka made, and Mindon wanted his completely free of discrepancies. It is also probable that Mindon's reasons for convening the Fifth Council and the building of the Cathedral, or the edifice where the book is housed, were somewhat political. The British imperialists of southern Burma made it a program to talk in emphasis of atrocities done by early Burmese kings. Mindon effectively counteracted the slander of the Burmese kings by acting highly religious and contributing exceptionally to the Buddhist world. For this reason, large sums of money were spent to convene the Fifth Council and engrave the complete Tipitaka in stones of marble. Minden's high aspirations included creating a meritorious deed which has been never done before by any king. All individuals invited to attend the Samga Council were well versed in religion, the large majority hailing from the north because the south was being ruled by the British. In total, 2,400 bhikkhus attended, meeting for a period of 5 months and 3 days. During this time they recited and approved the inscriptions of the Pali Canon. The editing process of the Tipitaka was highly sophisticated and elaborate, designed to eliminate discrepancy and error entirely. 4 monks, known as the Sayadaws, were the highest editors. They were renowned as the most educated with respect to religion. Below them were 30 monks acting as senior editors, 50 below them acting as editors, and another 50 below them acting as sub-editors. Individual editors were held severely responsible for ensuring the purity of the 84,000 sections of the Pitaka before it was passed on to be copied. A group of 100 copyists were also hierarchically organized, and all in attendance were dressed according to their respective rank. In addition to the large numbers of editors in attendance, there were also 4 senior monks present to answer general questions regarding grammar and spelling. The elaborate and excessive organization of individuals to edit the text were designed in order to edit the text repeatedly and thoroughly. Any form of mistake was possible when copying extensive text by hand. The Fifth Council is particularly obscure in comparison to the ones preceding it. It was recorded in a Burmese language, making it difficult to disseminate. The other Theravadan countries at the time, Ceylon, Thailand, and Cambodia, ignored the information because of the communication gap, and the information was further contained or lost. Had the information been recorded in the Pali language, more information would exist in other parts of the world. There are 2 recorded books regarding the council, both written in Burmese. The narrative version is recorded in the 2nd volume of the Great Chronicle of Burma, written by order of Minden. The 2nd book title is the Akara Visodini, and the author, Sayadaw, was one of the leading Mahateras of the time who took an active part in the synod. Hence it seems that the account of the council as narrated in the above 2 books are authentic, and they agree with each other. After the conference had concluded, the texts were translated into the Myanmar language. Minden died in 1877 and was succeeded by his son, Tithoba. In 1886, Tithoba lost his kingdom to the British Empire and was exiled to India. It was an easy task to dethrone Minden's successor, and the British eventually completely annexed the Myanmar. The construction of the Kathoda, or the edifice of the book, was arranged by Minden when he moved the capital of Burma from Ava to Mandalay. Tradition required that the foundations of 7 specific sites be laid simultaneously. They were the inner city or the palace, a moat going around the palace square, a pagoda, an ordination hall, a monastery, a meeting hall, and a library building for the Pitaka. The stone encasings of each leaf of the book were constructed during the council. All 7 edifices were finished being constructed in March of 1862. Today the structures are still not all standing. The library and the palace were both destroyed. Now there is a museum and some other concrete reconstructions in their place. Each stone, comprised of Sagyan Hill marble, is about a foot underground to ensure its stability, and measures 5.5 by 3.5 feet by 5 inches. All stand individually and upright and are housed in a brick building grouped around a stupa or saitaya. A stupa is a common Buddhist structure of worship. The stones are also aligned in neat rows within the 3 enclosures of the Kathoda. The first enclosure contains 42 leaves, the second has 168, and the last contains 519. The last page, equaling 730 in total, was engraved by the order of the U Po Lat in 1921, which describes how the book came into existence, and all of the meritorious deeds of the renowned King Minden. The writing on the slabs is not large in comparison to the slab, as one may assume when learning of the book's massive size. The stones are also inscribed on both sides. It would take a man 450 days to read all the inscriptions if he read 8 hours a day. Once 2,400 monks assembled to read incessantly in relays all that was written in that book, and it took them 150 days. The leaves of the book, as they are sometimes called, have also served more unorthodox roles throughout their existence, such as homes of refugees during World War II and hiding places of playing children. Two interpretations exist concerning Minden's goals for the book's length of life, and depending on the